Welcome to the tutorial on mastering the text tool in CorelDRAW. Text in CorelDRAW has two components: paragraph text and artistic text. They are both written using the same text tool, just with some difference in their properties. Paragraph text is used for writing text-intensive documents, such as a book, a magazine, a brochure, etc. Artistic text is used to add lines such as titles, captions, etc. In this tutorial, we shall cover paragraph text. The next tutorial will be on artistic text. Information on how to access the tutorial on artistic text is provided at the end of this tutorial. You can import text into your CorelDRAW document. This allows you to write your text in word processor applications and then import them into CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW supports the following text formats: 1. Text document. 2. Microsoft Word document. 3. Microsoft Word Open XML document. 4. WordPerfect document. 5. Rich text format document. I will first establish the default settings for this document's font. You can set the same values or feel free to set different values. I will set my font style for this document to Bookman Old Style. To do this, I will press F8 to select the text tool. Then, from the Object Properties docker, I'll click on the character icon that has the letter A. I'll click on the black triangle to open the drop-down font list and select the font Bookman Old Style. From the pop-up window, make sure that there is a check mark next to paragraph text and click OK, meaning these default settings will only apply to paragraph text. Then I'll place my cursor in the font size field and enter the value of 16. From the pop-up window, make sure that there is a check mark next to paragraph text and click OK. Next, I'll click on the black triangle to open the text color drop-down menu and select the color black. Or, I could just as easily click on the black color palette in the color docker. From the pop-up window, make sure that there is a check mark next to paragraph text and click OK. These are now the default settings for any text that I type or import into this document, unless I specify otherwise. The settings are: font style, Bookman Old Style, size, 16, color, black. There are 3 options available when you import files in any of the formats mentioned at the start of this tutorial. You can 1. Maintain fonts and formatting of the text in the imported document. 2. Maintain formatting only. 3. Discard fonts and formatting. Here I have 3 documents. The first document has the Alma Mater font. Size, 12. Color, red. Second document has the Alma Mater font. Size, 12. Color, green. Third document has the Alma Mater font. Size, 12. Color, blue. From the menu bar above, click on File. Scroll down and click on Import. Or, press Ctrl-I, Command-I on the Mac to open the import window. From the pop-up window, I will navigate to the folder that contains these documents. Click on the document named 1. Alma Mater, 12, red font, and then click on the Import button. From the next window that pops up, I will click on the radio dial next to the Maintain Fonts and Formatting option. Click OK. The cursor changes to show a right angle marker, as well as some document information. I'll move the cursor to the point where I wish to insert this text frame and left-click once. As you see, that the font color remains red. And if you take a look at the properties bar, you will be able to confirm that it is, indeed, Alba Mater font. Size 12. Now, let's import the next document. Press Ctrl-I, Command-I on the Mac to open the import window. Navigate to the folder that contains these documents. Click to select the document 2, Alba Mater, 12, green font, and then click on the Import button. From the next window that pops up, I will click on the radio dial next to the Maintain Formatting Only option. Click OK. Then I'll move the cursor to the point where I wish to insert this text frame and left-click once. As you see, that the formatting stayed with this text. It still has the font color green and the font size is still 12. But the font style has changed. It now has the default font style that we set for this CorelDRAW document, Bookman Old Style. Next, let's import the third and final document. Press Ctrl-I, Command-I on the Mac to open the import window. Navigate to the folder that contains these documents. Click to select the document 3, Alba Mater, 12, blue font, and then click on the Import button. From the next window that pops up, I will click on the radio dial next to the Discard Fonts and Formatting option. Click OK. Then I'll move the cursor to the point where I wish to insert this text frame and left-click once. As you see, that the imported text does not have its original formatting or the font style. It has adopted the default format setting that I had established for this document. Font style, Bookman Old Style. Size, 16. Color, black. To type in paragraph text in your CorelDRAW document, select the text tool from the toolbox bar. You can also press F8 to select it. Left-click and hold at the intended start point and drag the mouse to draw the outline for your text frame. You can now start typing your text. To confirm that this is in fact paragraph text, click on Window up in the menu bar. Scroll down and hover your mouse over Dockers. From the sub-menu, click on Object Manager. You will now have a Docker for Object Manager in your Dockers bar. In the Object Manager Docker, you will see a highlighted line that reads paragraph text, followed by more font information. Select the text tool and drag to draw a text frame on the canvas. We have drawn a one-column text frame. Let's enter some placeholder text in this frame. From the menu bar, click on Text to open the drop-down menu. Scroll down and hover the mouse over Paragraph Text Frame to open the sub-menu. From the sub-menu, click on Insert Placeholder Text. When you insert text using this method, CorelDRAW always inserts just the right amount of text, thus ensuring that the text fits within the capacity of the text frame. Note that the frame outline is black. This confirms that the amount of text in this frame does not exceed the capacity of the text frame. Grab the bottom right corner and push it inwards so as to shrink the frame by 50% or so. Release the corner. You will see that the color of the frame outline now is red. This is because when the text exceeds the text frame capacity, it turns red. Thus, indicating that there is more text hidden below the bottom line of the frame. There are a few ways we can fix this. Using the Pick tool, right-click inside the text frame. And from the pop-up menu, click on Fit Text to Frame. This action reduces the font size as much as it needs to fit the text within the existing frame. But, as you can see, that might not always be the best solution. the text size might become too small to read comfortably. It would probably work fine if the text was only a few words more than the capacity of the frame. Press Ctrl-Z, Command-Z on the Mac to undo this last action. You can increase the height or width of the frame. Left-click and hold on a black square on one of the horizontal outlines and pull to increase the height of the frame. Left-click and hold on a black square on one of the vertical outlines and pull to increase the width of the text within the frame. Press Ctrl-Z, Command-Z on the Mac a couple of times to undo the last two actions. Or, left-click and hold on one of the squares on the corners of the outline of the frame and pull it diagonally outwards to increase the height and the width of the frame. Basically, the opposite of the action we took when we reduced the size of the frame. You can also copy text from some other source and paste it in a text frame. This time we will utilize the Lorem Ipsum web page to get some placeholder text. To get some placeholder text, open your web browser and type in loremipsum.io in the address bar and hit enter. Scroll down a bit till you see the Lorem Ipsum generator section. Here, in the paragraphs field, type in the number of paragraphs of text you would like to generate. I am going to type 4 and hit the generate button. When the page refreshes, after generating the requested number of paragraphs, click on the copy button to copy the text. I'll switch back to my CorelDRAW screen. Click on the text tool to select it and draw a text frame. Press Ctrl-V, Command-V on the Mac to paste the copied text. As expected, the boundary outline is red, telling us that the pasted text does not fit within this frame. With the text tool still active, left-click and draw another text frame below this first frame. Now, click on the first text frame that we pasted the text into. In the center of the bottom outline, you will see the Text Flow tab. Place your cursor over it and left-click once. Note that the cursor has now changed to show the Link to pointer. Move your cursor to hover over the other frame that we created on this page. When you do that, your cursor changes to show a thick black arrow pointing right. Left-click once. All the text that was hidden behind the bottom outline of the first frame now shows up in this frame. Since the outline color still remains red, we know there is still text hiding within this frame. Click on the tab to switch to the next page and draw another text frame. Switch back to the previous page. Click the bottom frame to select it. Hover your cursor over the Text Flow tab and left-click once. Click on the tab for the next page and hover the mouse over the text frame we created on this page. Left-click once. This brings all the hidden text from the previous page into this frame, which is on a different page. The color of the outlines of all the frames is now black. Keep this text frame selected. You will see a marker on the outside on the left of this frame. This marker tells us that the content is a continuation from another text frame on a different page. And, in my case, that text frame is on page 3 of this document. If I go back to page 3 and click on the last text frame on the page, you will see a similar marker on the right side of this text frame, telling us that the text continues on page 4 of this document. Likewise, click and select the first text frame on this page, and you will see a blue arrow showing you the connection and flow of the text between the two frames. We have, successfully, just linked text frames to each other, creating a smooth continuation for the content to be presented in them. There is a faster way to get the same results. Using the Lorem Ipsum web page, I'll generate 5 paragraphs of placeholder text. Copy it and switch back to my CorelDRAW page. I'll draw a full page size text frame and press Ctrl V, Command V on the Mac to paste the copied text. The outline is red, as expected. Hover the mouse over the text flow tab and left-click once. Then click on the tab for the next page to open it. As soon as you move your cursor onto the page, you will notice a gray dotted line appear on the page. CorelDRAW generates this automatically. It places a text frame of the same size as the frame we want to link this frame to. Left-click once to complete the continuation of the content from the previous page. You can also link multiple frames with one action. Draw a text frame that is about the size of the page. From the menu bar, click on Text to open the drop-down menu. Scroll down and hover the mouse over Paragraph Text Frame to open the sub-menu. From the sub-menu, click on Insert Placeholder Text. Grab the node in the middle of the bottom outline and push it up to reduce the height considerably. Now, with the text tool selected, draw 3 text frames below this frame. Switch to the Pick tool and press down and hold the Shift key. Left-click once on each frame on this page to select all of them. From the menu bar, click on Text to open the drop-down menu. Scroll down and hover your cursor over Paragraph Text Frame to open the sub-menu. Scroll down and click on Link. You have now established the continuation of the text from the first frame to the last frame. All the text frames that we have drawn so far comprise of only one column. Here, I have 2 identical text frames. Same size and the same amount of text. I'll click to select the top text frame. With this frame selected, click on the Object Properties docker to open it, and then click on the icon for Frame to bring up the frame properties. The last icon in the second row, 3 dots, provides access to modify column settings. Click on it to open the column settings pop-up panel. Starting from the top left, the first field is to set the desired number of columns. Below that, data about the width of the columns and gutter is displayed. Then, you have the option of choosing equal column widths or not. Make sure you have a checkmark next to the equal column width option, as well as the preview option. With the preview option, you will get a live visual of the changes you are making to the text frame layout. And then, on the bottom right side of this panel, you have the option of choosing if you want the changes made to the frame without altering the frame width. That is, add additional columns and the required gutters without changing the width of the text frame. You can also add an additional column of equal width, as well as a gutter, while allowing an increase in the frame width to accommodate these changes. First, make sure the radio dial next to maintain current frame width has a dot in it. Then, from the number of columns field, increase the number of columns to 2. The frame width did not change at all. And we now have 2 columns of equal width, separated by a gutter. In my case, the width of the gutter is 0.5 inches. I can click in the gutter field and type in a different value. I'll type in 0.25 inches and hit enter. The gutter width is now reduced to 0.25 inches and the column width has increased accordingly. Click OK to accept the changes. Now, I'll click to select the second text frame and click on the icon with the 3 dots to open the column settings panel. This time, I'll click on the radio dial next to automatically adjust frame width and then increase the number of columns to 2. This action adds a second column of equal width, plus a gutter, and increases the frame width to accommodate the changes. Click on the box to remove the checkmark next to equal column width field. Now, we can see two rows of data in the fields above. We see the width of the first column, followed by the width of the gutter, and then, in the second row, the width of the second column. Both columns have the same width. Click OK to accept the changes. You can change the background color of a text frame. Left-click to select a text frame. In the Frame panel in the Object Properties docker, the first icon in the first row is for the background color. Click on the black triangle to open the background color drop-down menu. From here, click on a color of your choice to complete the change. The next icon to its right is to align the text within the frame to the baseline grid. Click on it to complete the alignment. The next icon is for the vertical alignment settings of the text in the frame. You can top vertically align the text in relation to the frame, as it shows currently. Or center vertical alignment. You can bottom vertical align it. Or full vertical align. If you click on this icon for paragraph, you will find options for horizontal alignment in reference to the left or the right side of the frame. The default setting normally is align left, which is the setting right now for the selected frame. You can align center, or you can right align. Similarly, you can full justify or force justify the alignment. Not any different than word processing applications. You also have a few options in terms of the color of the text. From the Object Properties docker, click on the character icon to open the Options panel. To pick a uniform color, you can click on a color palette from the Color docker on the right. Or, you can click on this black triangle to open the Text Color Options menu and pick a color of your choice. Click on the black triangle to open the drop-down menu for fill type. Click on Fountain Fill to select it. Left-click once on the icon with the three dots for Fill Settings to open the Edit Fill pop-up window. In the bottom left of this window, you will see a slider showing you the color selection for the fountain fill. Click on the node color marker at the left end, and you will see the node color picker become visible below the slider. Left-click once to open the node color picker drop-down. Pick a color of your choice, and left-click on it once. You can close this window. Repeat the same for the node color marker on the right end of the slider. Pick a color of your choice and close the panel. On the bottom part of the slider, you will see a triangle. Left-click on it once to select it. Its color changes to black when selected. This is the transition point marker from one color to the next. By default, it is placed right in the center of the two ends of the slider. So, at 50%, you can grab it and move it to the right or the left to shift the transition point. Or, you can click in this field itself and enter a value of your choice. Hit Tab to accept that change. To its right, you can set the blend direction. The default setting is linear color blend. Click on the black triangle in the bottom right corner of this icon to open a drop-down menu with more choices. Click on the icon for clockwise color blend. Notice the shift in the colors. Click and open the Choices panel again, and this time click on Counterclockwise Color Blend. Click OK to accept the changes. Once again, click on the black triangle to open the drop-down menu for Fill Type and click on Vector Pattern. Click on the black triangle to open the drop-down menu for Text Color. On the left side, you will see a number of categories, and each category offers a number of different options. I am going to click on the Decorative category. This will bring up all the options available under the Decorative category on the right side of this drop-down menu. I will scroll down and click on an option. When the drop-down panel opens, mine says Stained Glass. I will click on the Apply icon to apply the fill to the text. It might take a few seconds to apply these changes. Similarly, there is a fair bit of formatting that we can do to the background of text. Open the drop-down menu for Background Fill Type. From here, click on Fountain Fill. Like the previous example, you can change the fill color options to suit your needs. Also, from the Background Fill Type drop-down menu, you can choose one of the other fill type categories available as options. Then, from the Text Background Color drop-down menu, choose a background fill of your choice. Let us talk about outline width and color. Left-click to select a text frame. Click and open the drop-down menu for outline width. From here, select the width of your outline. I will choose 1 mm. Then open the Outline Color drop-down menu and click on a color of your choice. Close this window. One last thing to discuss. Frames do not have to be rectangular or square. Frames can be of any shape. You can use an object to insert text into. The way to do that is to insert a text frame in an object and then add text to it. If the object you wish to use is not a curve object, then first convert it to a curve object. Select the object and press Ctrl Q, Command Q on the Mac to convert it into a curve object. With the object selected, click on Text from the menu bar. Scroll down and hover your cursor over Paragraph Text Frame to open the sub-menu. From the sub-menu, click on Create Empty Text Frame. You will now see a black dash line indicating that the object now has a text frame. Click on the text icon from the toolbox bar to switch to the Text tool, and then click inside the newly created text frame. At this point, if you have your own text, then paste it by pressing Ctrl V, Command V on the Mac. Otherwise, for placeholder text, click on Text from the menu bar and scroll down and hover your cursor over Paragraph Text Frame to open the sub-menu. From the sub-menu, click on Insert Placeholder Text. If you wish to separate this newly inserted text from the object, then select it using the Pick tool. From the menu bar, click on Object to open the drop-down menu. Scroll down and click on Break Paragraph Text inside a path apart. Left-click once on a blank spot on the canvas to deselect the object. Now, left-click once and hold on either the object outline or the text frame and drag it to a different spot. You can delete it if you want. Spend some time on checking out all the available options in all these formatting tools. There is a lot in there to discover. That brings us to the end of this tutorial on mastering the text tool in CorelDRAW. Please take your time exploring these tools and get familiar with all their features and capabilities. Next, We will start by learning about the Artistic Text tool. To learn about the Artistic Text tool, please access the Mastering the Artistic Text tool in CorelDRAW tutorial. Or, click on the link provided below in the description of this video. To access the previously published tutorials, please click on the links provided below for those tutorials in the description of this video.